Now that the gameplay portion of the Pokemon White Artlocke is done, I wanted to make sure that you guys got a chance to check out the art a little bit more closely than you would have during the actual video, so here it is. And hey, stay tuned at the very end for a sneak peek at what's coming up in our next Artlocke. And here's our first speed paint of the series. So I always pick Fennekin. I had a really great time when this game first came out. I had moved from one job to another. I suddenly had a little bit more free time on my hands. Misty and I got the game together and we were playing it in tandem, and we just had a really great time. Fennekin was my starter, so I have a lot of nostalgia kind of attached to it. I decided for this Artlocke, I'm gonna play around with the colors a little bit, and keep in mind, these aren't supposed to be like direct Sugimori style pieces of art. They are just, you know, pictures of Pokemon the way that I want to draw them. So hopefully that's okay by you guys. I gave our little Fennekin starter blue eyes and a really simple background based on the colors of the Pokemon Select screen. So I hope you like it. So, does anybody else remember the Orange Island episode about Pudgy Pidgeys and the fact that they couldn't fly and stuff like that? I feel like the Orange Islands kind of forced the Pokemon anime writers to be really creative with the 150 Pokemon that they were allowed to use, plus the couple of little Johto guys like Marill. And I wanted to kind of honor that, so I used some color swatches from a screenshot from the episode, and I made our Pidgey look a little chunky. It looks almost like a little penguin or a puffin or something, and I think it's super cute. So today honestly was a little rough, hearing about Akira Toriyama's passing, and yet still, you know, wanting to work. So I put this background together. It's meant to be sort of a really rough simulation of the colors from King Kai's planet. I thought it was kind of fitting, being that Julian here is a little monkey, and we have both Goku and Bubbles training on King Kai's planet. Dragon Ball has been a huge influence for me ever since I was young. It was something that my brother and I bonded over, my friends and I bonded over, and that I love to this day. So, yeah, rough one, if I'm being honest. I hope you like the picture anyway, though. So, from the chatting that I've done in the comments, it does seem like Simipour probably is the least favorite of all of the evolved elemental monkey Pokemon. So I really wanted to go out of my way to draw something cute, something vibrant, something that just, you know, had like a really nice upbeat vibe. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully people like this piece of art and it makes them think a little bit differently about this Pokemon, which I think is, you know, fairly cute just in general. I used colors from the Dragon Ball Z Otherworld again, just to follow along from the art that I did for Panpour, and I hope that you like it. So, being a single-stage Pokemon at this point of the game, this little guy is going to have some pretty increased stats compared to everybody else. Dunsparce happens to be one of my wife's favorites too, so I'm pretty pleased with this. I don't know how long it's going to stick around on the team, but yeah, we'll see. I used some background colors from one of Raphael's paintings, the little cherubs there. I thought that'd be a really cute little homage to the fact that it's got wings and like a little angel guy. So at the time of recording, we are in early March, and Easter is on my mind, so I decided to go with an Easter palette for the background here. Because we named the little critter after Tasha Yar, I thought that I'd give it a kind of a tough pose because she was the security officer for Season 1 of TNG. Yeah, so that's where this all came from. So, to be entirely honest, I had a lot more fun with this piece of art than I thought I was going to. Rios is not going to be on the team for very long because we're going to be getting a much better option once we hit Lumiose City. Believe I'm going to be picking Bulbasaur. Still haven't decided on a name for it yet, but I don't think that Rios is going to be with us for too terribly long, so I was like, okay, I'll
slam out like a super fast little art piece for him. Drawing the 3 expressions, the 3 little personalities, just made me laugh and really actually enjoyed this piece. So I hope that you like it as well. Yeah, for as long as it's going to be there. Rios is probably getting boxed fairly quickly.
So, Bulbasaur. I picked this for a couple of reasons. The main one being that it kind of fits in with the team. We already have a water type, we already have a fire type, so a grass type just makes sense. The other one is that this is my wife's favorite Kanto starter, and it's my buddy Gil's favorite Pokemon of all time, I believe, so, you know, kind of cool to have that on the team. Yeah, and I picked blue and red for the background colors just because blue, red, green, kind of the original trio, so I thought it was kind of cool, and I got those colors directly from a screenshot of Professor Sycamore's lab, so yeah. Honestly, it was kind of a hard decision to start evolving things. I really do enjoy getting to the Hall of Fame with a full team of unevolved stuff, but if losing Miles has taught me anything, it's that we really can't afford that level of hubris in this playthrough, or we're gonna lose, and it's not gonna be fun. So here we have Ivysaur. For this piece of art, I used some textures from physical media. It's something that I like to do sometimes, that kind of cutout look. I used some watercolor green, I used some green construction paper, and some big, thick pink acrylic strokes for the flower and the eyes, and then I just did a really simple background. I think it's fun, simple piece of art, but I enjoy it. I really loved the art that I did for the Ivysaur. I'm kind of bummed that we only got to use it for a couple of episodes. So I tried to recreate it kind of with the Venusaur picture. I did definitely change up the background. I gave it something a little bit more Klingon inspired, just to sort of synergize with the name Worf a little bit more. Other than that, I used a really similar style for the actual artwork of the Pokemon. I gave Worf kind of this crazy devil may care grin with these big sharp teeth, and I actually really love the line art for this guy. I might use it for something else at some point. I'm just that happy with it. I think it's probably the best of the art that I've done for this series so far. So I really hope that you guys like it a lot. So to be completely fair, I've never really used this particular Pokemon before. I really didn't care for it too much until it came out in Pokemon GO, and I saw that you could get a whole bunch of cool forms for it. I'd never really explored that during my playthroughs of Kalos. So I'm actually pretty excited to try using it this time. I don't know if we're going to change its haircut. Let me know in the comments if there's a particular style that you want to see. Other than that, meet Jayla. So weirdly enough, I've never used Sandile in a proper team before. I've definitely raised one up before just to fill out the Pokedex for the evolved forms, but yeah, never used it in a playthrough. Really excited to try it out, to be honest with you. For this piece, I wanted to make it look like it was kind of leaping out of some sand, kind of a dynamic looking little background, so hopefully you guys like it. So to be entirely honest, I don't have a lot to say about the design of Krokorok. It's definitely one of those Pokemon where it just kinda gets bigger. And that is okay. I don't mind that. Every dex needs a couple of those, and yeah, you know, I am completely fine with that. I tried to create more of a dynamic background where it looks like it's kicking up a sandstorm. I don't know how successful I was with that, to be honest with you, but I hope you guys like the art anyway. Honestly, this is just a carry through from the prior two pieces of art. A big sandy background against a blue sky, like this thing is just fighting it out in a desert, swirling sand around, you know, making up a sandstorm as it goes, just kind of trying to destroy the area with as much sand as it possibly can and make everybody's day a little bit more miserable, because sand is coarse and rough and it gets everywhere. Yeah, so I hope that you guys like this art, despite the fact that it's very much just a follow-on through from the original.
So unlike Sandile, I've definitely raised a bunch of Tyrunt in my time. I love Tyrantrum. Stegosaurus is my favorite dinosaur, but of course everybody loves T-Rex. For this piece, I gave it colors from the Gorn Captain, because that's what we're eventually going to name it, is going to be Gorn. And then I also gave it a little Prince Vegeta hairdo, because, you know, it's a prince. It's gonna grow up to be a king, and that just kind of amused me. In terms of the background, I went with sort of a facility-looking kind of thing at night. It looks like it's in a building hunting people, kind of like the velociraptors in the kitchen in Jurassic Park. Yeah, hope you like it. What more needs to be said about Tyrantrum? It takes two things that I love, Pokemon and dinosaurs, and smooshes them together in this weirdly perfect manner. It looks like a Pokemon, you can tell it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, like, it's peak design. Hopefully this kind of dynamic pose that I tried to do does it some justice. I really hope so. I had a lot of fun with this, but it was one of the more complex drawings that I've done, so I've probably made a bunch of little goofs. Please forgive me, and I hope that you like the art. So to be honest with you guys, I'm still pretty annoyed that we lost our starter, especially to just a weird random battle. That's very, very annoying to me. I'm glad though that we did have something kind of cool to put in its place. The expression that I gave this little guy is just very happy and goofy, and I put it in kind of a dynamic pose to sort of counteract the weird blank expressionless stare that Esper has in the games. I just wanted to make this thing look really fun and nice. I hope that you guys like this art. I'm actually really happy with it. I borrowed the colors and aesthetic from Lisa Frank just because I really enjoy Lisa Frank artwork, weirdly enough. And then I just put in a little mood board picture of Data and Spot, who this Esper is named after. So, in my opinion, Meowstic is a really, really cute design. I actually like it a little bit more than I like Esper, I think. And I think that the gender dimorphism is pretty cool. I do probably prefer the female look over the male look. It just looks a little bit cleaner with the predominantly white body and the dark blue accents. I think it looks kind of neat. I do enjoy that they both look like they have little sailor suits on. It's just it's a weird, cute little detail. I don't like this piece of art as much as I enjoy the Esper piece of art. Let me know if you agree with me in the comments, and let me know which color scheme for Esper or Meowstic you like in the comments as well. That would be cool. So, I really love the fact that Sean Schammel, who voices Goku in the English dub of Dragon Ball, voiced Lucario in the Lucario and the Mystery of Mew movie. I think that's actually really cool, especially with Lucario's focus on aura and aura sphere and, you know, those kind of explodey, martial artsy type fighting type moves. So I wanted to use some colors from a couple of screenshots of Dragon Ball Z to color this picture with. I actually really like the goofy little face that I gave this guy, the kind of dynamic, squishy looking pose. I had a lot of fun with this, so I hope that you guys like it. So in terms of hawlucha, I basically just kind of stuck to colors from Dr. Miglimo himself, who he's named after, and the Mexican flag, which I think is the inspiration for the color palette for this Pokemon, being that it's based on Lucha Libre and Luchador and that kind of stuff. So not a lot to say about this piece of art. I wanted to draw it in kind of a dynamic style, kind of a, you know, wild line art, little bit of high contrast shading versus, you know, the regular softer cell shading that I normally do. I think it came out pretty good, actually. I'm pretty happy with it. So, to be entirely fair, I have not used a trap-in since my very first playthrough of Pokemon Ruby version back in the early 2000s. I'm actually pretty excited to be using one right now. I don't remember whether there were any major upgrades or downgrades or anything compared to the way that it handled in Gen 3 versus Gen 6, but yeah, hopefully it should be a fun time. I used a terracotta texture on Linus's body and head and mouth and everything. I thought that that was kind of a neat little touch, and then to separate it from the other desert-dwelling reptile that we got going on there, though I guess Trapinch is more like a bug than a reptile, even though it becomes a dragon. I gave it sort of a starry night background on a grassy plain. So yeah, hopefully you guys like it. So the key thing that I remember about Trapinch versus Vibrava is that stat drop. The attack stat on Vibrava is actually lower than that of the pre-evolved form, and then it comes back up to pre-evolved form levels in the final evolution of Flygon. So it's kind of weird. Very different appearance-wise as well. So the first time playing through these games in Gen 3 that introduced Trapinch, I remember being pretty shocked by how different Vibrava and Trapinch look, which is, you know, that's always fun. It's kind of a Magikarp Gyarados situation. Yeah, anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed the art.
So I did the best that I could to keep the art for Flygon fairly consistent with the other two stages. I think I did an okay job, despite the fact that I did this one quite a bit after doing the art for those other guys. Yeah, that's just kind of how it worked out. I hope that you like it. I had a lot of fun with it, especially the pose. I wanted to make him look sort of happy and jolly and carefree. And I just, yeah, I really feel like I achieved that with this little piece of art. So yeah, I hope you like it. So, keeping in mind that I really wasn't intending to use this legendary Pokemon, I think it was pretty much the best choice that we could have made. We'd lost so many powerhouses, so many things that were of a comparable level. This guy is one of the closer ones to our sort of level 60 level cap that we have right now. I'm not super happy with the art. I think it's functional, it does its job. The legendaries are always so complex, and that's another stumbling block for me. So, you know, hopefully it does the job. It looks okay. You guys don't hate it. Thanks so much. So, I really wanted another ground type on the team. The only drawback I see here is that I did recently use a Sandslash in our Kitakami playthrough. So, you know, a little bit of a repeated monster in regards to the channel. But, you know, it worked out so well for that playthrough, and I really do love Sandslash. It's one of my favorite Kanto Pokemon. So, I'm perfectly happy to have it on the team. Hopefully you guys don't mind the repeat. I gave it a similar sandy texture to the Flygon line that I did, just as kind of an homage to the fact that it's replacing that line. And yeah, hopefully you like the art. So, there is actually a Star Trek character named Chester. It is a very, very small part. It's actually a cat. You'll see it on the sort of mood board thing that I do for my coloring. Miles O'Brien winds up taking over this cat after he gets it from somebody. It's a whole thing, but yeah, we keep the naming convention intact. Yay! I tried to emulate the same sort of background that I did for Miles. I think I did a slightly better job this time. I hope you guys like it. One of my favorite book series is called Fluff, and it's a lit RPG by Raven's Dagger. It's actually really cool. I recommend that you check it out if you like that kind of stuff, but I wanted to emulate the background image, at least in color, for that, so I have the cover of the thing on my little mood board set up. And then I just mostly wanted to draw a chunky bird. So I kind of did. I used some colors from a screenshot of Talin from Lower Decks as well, so hopefully you like this art. And now, as promised, a little bit of a sneak peek at the art for our next Artlocke. Yeah, so it's literally crazy by how much Rowlet won the poll for the starter for this run. I'm kind of amazed by it. Let's see, I hopefully will enjoy playing with Rowlet. I haven't done a playthrough with Rowlet in an Alola game. I did pick one for a personal playthrough of Legend Arceus though. I named it Tien because it winds up getting a hood and it's got some green clothing elements, which is what I kind of always associate with Tien. And yeah, hopefully you guys like it. Thank you so much.